Buddhist Temple and the 75th Annual Obon Festival. Woohoo! Thank you for coming and joining our celebration today. My name is Nick Tome. I am a co-chair of the Obon Festival along with my lovely wife, Maki. Co-chair for Maki. And I would like to start off this morning by recognizing the Shinsho, Mugen, Daiko, Taiko drumming group who launched our ceremony. Let's hear it for the Taiko drummers. Woo! They will be back here on the stage later this afternoon, so you'll have another chance to enjoy some more excellent Taiko drumming. I'd like to acknowledge a few people that have helped make this amazing event possible, this being our 75th. I'd like to acknowledge Linda Kadani, who is the temple president, and the entire board of directors from the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple who made this possible. I'd also like to extend a huge thank you to all of the volunteers, sponsors, and donors who've come together. This truly is a community event, and the community really comes together and puts a tremendous amount of effort into making this such a success. So a huge thank you to everybody who contributed, and a huge thanks to all of you, our community members, who come and celebrate every year. Thank you all so much. While you're here, please enjoy the wonderful food, the children's games and demonstrations this afternoon. The Asian store is located inside, just off the social hall. There will be demonstrations throughout the day, Japanese tea ceremony, all sorts of different demonstrations inside, so please enjoy those. A schedule and map are in the program that you got from the welcome table on your way in, so there's a lot going on here, and I encourage everyone to focus on the schedule, map out your day, figure out what you want to do.
No, but I'm going to try to record as much as I can.
Enjoying the great food, enjoying the kids' games, enjoying demonstrations here on the stage, and having a great time at the festival. At this point, I would like to recognize Seaside's First Lady, Miss Rita Burks. Woo! Thank you for joining us, Rita. And I'd like to welcome Seaside's Mayor Ian Oglesby to come on up and say a few words to launch the festival this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Nick. I think the first thing I better do is correct the First Lady Rita Oglesby. No, that's fine. No, Rita Burks is our council member, and so sometimes we all get them confused, but we're so happy to be here today at this 75th annual celebration of life and gratitude. You know, it's about how do we pay respect to our ancestors for what they have done for us over the centuries and centuries of this rich history. And we're just so glad that we're celebrating that here in the beautiful city of Seaside. We're happy for the Buddhist Temple Board and the Obon Festival's committee for what they do to make sure this is a welcoming place for all of those people that come here from throughout the county and the regions for this special day. So many people look forward to this day to come here and share the festivities and see the arts and crafts, but most importantly, to remember and respect our ancestors and what they've done for us. So today again is a day of life and expressions of gratitude. I'm so happy and it's my honor and privilege to be here today. So I want to say thank you for allowing us to take part in this. Thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Really appreciate that. And Mrs. Oglesby, my apologies. But now I've already put my foot in my mouth once, and so I've got that out of the way, and now we can just have a good time the rest of the day. Next, it's really a pleasure and an honor to introduce our next speaker. If you can please join me in welcoming Reverend Shinseki. who is officiating his final Obon Festival as the Reverend of the Monterey Peninsula Buddhist Temple. He's retiring after over 35 years of ministry, including 17 years at this temple. So I really encourage you all to join him for his talk on Buddhism at 2 o'clock today inside the Hondo in the temple, and also for the Obon service here at 3:30. So, Reverend Shinseki, I'd like to turn it over to you for some words of wisdom and to lead us in Gasho to open our Obon Festival.
Thank you, Nick. Good morning, everyone. And words of wisdom, huh? I think the mayor had the words of wisdom, so we'll call him Reverend Mayor as his title. But I want to welcome everybody, and we can't thank everybody enough for taking the time to be with us today. And it is a festival, but it's a celebration of life. And you can't celebrate life without really knowing your past. And knowing your past allows you to live fully in this moment and celebrate the life that you've been given. It truly is a gift. And Nick has said that this is my last Obon Festival as the resident minister here in Monterey. But everything has a beginning, everything has an end. But that does not mean that it's the end of a relationship. Even our grandparents, great-grandparents who are no longer with us, that relationship continues on and on. And everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that we think. And so our actions are not just our own, but we are carrying with us the actions, the words, and the hearts and minds of our family, our members, our friends. And so that's what Obon is about. Later on, we're going to dance. And that dance is a celebration of life, celebrating the life that we've been given. So I invite all of you to enjoy the food, enjoy the drink, enjoy the demonstration, enjoy the dancing. And please join us. You don't need to know how to dance, you just need to get out there and do it, and enjoy it. So thank you very much. So it's my honor to open today's 75th Obon here in Seaside. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Thank you very much.
Shinseki, and with that, the Obon Festival is officially started. Yes, thank you. I'd like to remind everyone, at 12:30 we will have a Japanese tea ceremony presentation inside in the social hall. But now, I would like to introduce the Shoriji Kempo group, which will demonstrate a martial art based on Zen Buddhism, led by Sensei Kazuki Arita. Shoriji Kempo Monterey, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, はい、こんにちは。こんにちは。Very good. こんにちは means hello or good afternoon in the Japanese language. My name is Arita. I'm a Japanese instructor at a Defense Language Institute, the University of Monterey, but also I'm a master of this Japanese martial arts called Shoriji. At first, I would like to explain about Japanese martial arts very briefly. Japanese martial arts is one of the Japanese culture, and it is different from other martial arts in other countries, such as Taekwondo in Korea, or Tai Chi in China, or mixed martial arts in the United States. The Japanese martial arts has been influenced by Japanese religion, such as Buddhism or Shinsho. So Japanese people practice Japanese martial arts for self-development purpose, which is for training body and mind and spirit. So therefore, Japanese martial arts is considered as one of the education in Japan. So 9 modern Japanese martial arts, including Judo, Kendo, Aikido, Karate, Shoriji Kempo, and such, are taught at all middle school in Japan as school subjects called Budo,
which means Japanese martial arts. So this Japanese martial art, Shoriji Kempo, is based on Zen Buddhism. Our purpose this practice is not for winning in a fighting tournament, but for having a strong body and mind by martial arts practice and Zen. Today we are going to demonstrate how we train at every practice. Please join in our meditation. Please close your eyes. Your body is straight. And inhale very slowly. And exhale very slowly. The important thing is think nothing.
We do a basic. So, 回復集団。はい。上段突く10 times。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。中段突き。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。蹴り上げキック。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。よし。ペンチ剣第一レフトサイド構えて。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、よし。レイ。
We demonstrate several techniques based on different belt rank. All techniques in Shoriji Kempo are trained by pair, defender and attacker. We have two types of techniques, Go-Ho, which is striking techniques, and Jiho, which means release and takedown techniques. But first to demonstrate Go-Ho, which means striking and defense techniques. First technique is called Uchiu Gezuki, which is one of the basic techniques for self-defense. Let's show me. Ready? Right now. At each other. Just start. Ready? Right now. I thank you very much. Next technique is Ryusui-geri. This is the first technique for all white belts to learn when they start practice. Show me. Ready? Now, each other. Get started. Better? cultural and also practice whole balance. Okay. Next technique is called Uransenke. Okay, now. Let's show it. You can start. So Amisa is a mother of Michelle, Ezra, and Rocky. So they enjoy Shoriji Kempo practice in the whole family. That's what they did. Right now. So next technique is called the Shitaoke. That's what they did. Right now. You can start. Next technique is called the Tsuwame Gaishi. This character is a very unique technique. Attack side give a hand attack to head, defense side block by the hand, and punch back to the face by the same hand. That's one technique. Right now, this other you can start. Now we demonstrate the Juho, which is the release or takedown techniques. First Juho technique is Kotenuki. So attacker side grabs the inside wrist, defense side release it and punch back to the temple and the stomach. Like shown in the Now, let's show it. Let's start. Next Juho technique is Gyakugote. When attacker side grabs the poles inside wrist, defender side then attack wrist, elbow, and take down the ground. It's shown in the next. Now. This one is Uransenke and Kotenage. These are a little bit higher level techniques for black belt. It's shown in the right now. Now we are going to demonstrate Enbu. Enbu is the final steps of the Shoriji Kempo practice. We demonstrate various techniques by pair or groups. The other person in pair is not an opponent nor an enemy, but we cooperate each other to become more skillful. We practice techniques very hard until we can do techniques very smoothly, like artwork. This is the reason why it is called martial art. During the Enbu, we need to demonstrate not only technique, but also our philosophy, energy, force, spirit, and the feeling of respect, which we have developed by practice. First Enbu is called a Tandoku Enbu, which means single form. The single Enbu expresses a combination of the various single form of Goho, which is striking techniques. Tiger has practiced Shoriji Kempo for more than 10 years, and he was one of the U.S. representative of the Shoriji Kempo single form division in the Shoriji Kempo World Taikai in Tokyo, Japan in 2023. Thank you very much. Next Enbu is brothers Enbu. So Angelo, Harvey are brothers, and they have practiced Shoriji Kempo for 5 years. Now, you can start. Next one is a black belt, Enbu. So Enbu, again, a combination of striking and takedown techniques. For black belt level, we can see strength when we strike and toughness when we take down. So Fumio, the left side, practiced Shoriji Kempo for about 18 years and hold a 3rd degree black belt. Kureto, right side, has practiced for 16 years, but he's going to be a 3rd down black belt. That's shown in red. Now, you can start. Our final aim was period of black belt and a brown belt. The taker has second dan black belt, Isabel holds Nikyu, a second degree brown belt. In Shorinji Kempo again, purpose is emblem is to develop the techniques, energy, force, strong spirit, and a feeling of respect to others. Now, you can start.
Sorry. Japanese is terrible. No. It's a Nihon desu. Nihon desu.
If you are interested in practice of Shorinji Kempo, please visit and observe practice this Monterey Buddhist Temple. We practice 6 to 8 every Wednesday, Friday. Or you can do Google search with the word Shorinji Kempo Monterey. Now thank you very much for watching our demonstration today. Now, we have finished by, so please stay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The first guest picks the bowl to appreciate it. Then she would turn the bowl from to side. After finishing enjoying the tea, she will wipe the lid of the bowl by fingers as a courtesy. Then turn the bowl to bring back the front. In the tea ceremony, we use very special matcha or powdered green tea. When hot water is added, it is whisked to a green foam, which gives off a lovely fragrance. Now the tea bowl for the second guest was made by Anderson Sensei, who is one of our Uransenke teachers. He says peace in various languages. The guest just asked the host to finish the ceremony. The house has just placed cold water to the kettle. The guest has asked to see the tea container in the tea scoop. The host will symbolically purify them for the guests. Soon the host will leave the room so the guests may examine the utensils in private.
She said we.
Guest has remarked on the beauty of the tea container and asked about its shape. The tea container selected today has a wide shape and is decorated with a raft and flowers, or Ikebana. It was made by Nakamura's orchids. The guest also asked who made a teaspoon and learned it was carved by Onozawa Kankai, the former heir of Jukoi in Daiko, Kempo. The tea master, or the heir, gave his spoon the poetic name of Obon, or past and present. After the past guests have parted, the guests will use the display area one by one. This concludes our tea ceremony. We would like to give our sincere appreciation for all of you who are here today. And now we will serve sweets and matcha for those who are in the first round. We hope you enjoy. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are we feeling out there? Hey, whoever ordered the sunshine, I want to say thank you because I'm looking out on the Monterey Peninsula and it's foggy and cold, and right here in beautiful Seaside, we are drinking in the sun. At least I hope we are, and if you're not, the beer booth is right here, cold beer and cold sake. Woohoo! Thank you, Greg. We also have all kinds of great food going down Food Alley here, and games and get stuff down at the end. So hopefully you're getting in on everything. I do want to give a special shout out to my brothers from Breakthrough Men's Group, who are volunteering in the Tempura booth. Thank you guys. Go Breakthrough. And I also want to remind everybody that at 1:30 we have the Bonsai demonstration inside in the social hall at 1:30. The Monterey Bonsai Club, led by Sensei Katsumi Kinoshita, will be demonstrating the art of bonsai. And so you can see bonsai plants being made. You can also see the display of bonsai trees that are in the display room. So that's always a beautiful thing. Bonsai, amazing. Some of those trees are literally hundreds of years old. Little tiny trees, hundreds of years old for bonsai. So don't miss out on the bonsai demonstration at 1:30 in the social hall. But now, right here on the Yagura stage, it is my pleasure to welcome Aikido of Monterey. Aikido, Monterey. Aikido is known as the art of peace, or the way of harmony. So it's a martial art, but a peaceful martial art, using your opponent's energy against them, rather than your own negative energy against them. The way of harmony. This group is led by Sensei Mitch Johnson. So please join me in welcoming Sensei Mitch Johnson. Thank you very much, Mitch.
Aikido is a Japanese martial way founded by Morihei Sensei. It embodies the unique philosophy of harmony and non-resistance. Developed in the early 20th century, Aikido blends self-defense techniques with spiritual principles. Unlike most more aggressive martial arts, Aikido emphasizes redirecting an opponent's energy rather than using force and authority. Aikido learns to harmonize with attacks using circular movements, joint locks, and throws to neutralize their attack. What you'll see today. Practitioners cultivate physical skills alongside mental and spiritual growth, making it a holistic practice that extends beyond the dojo. Whether you're drawn to its philosophy or seek effective self-defense, Aikido offers a path of balance, resilience, and inner peace. Thank you. Well, the first thing we practice in Aikido is how to keep yourself in by extension the important state. One of the first things you learn to do is a variety of roles. Let's do a demonstration of Shiwaza. Shiwaza is a continuous motion practice. Really hard to be scripted, although we can do this practice from a specific attack. And the idea is just to move with the energy of the attack to have your partner fall down without injury. Thank you very much. This is a demonstration of some of the possibilities we're facing with an attack. There's obviously a lot of things here, but three of the big things would be to just back away from the threat, not to accept it and go back. So the rift is around and you keep going back, but eventually you're going to still end up being attacked. The other is to meet force with force. And while there's a lot of really great work that we saw once today to deal with force against force, well, something felt that there were no winners in conflict. Even if you won, even if you beat your opponent, ultimately you didn't win. Luckily, the martial arts was to learn how to become a better person, was to have a better plan rather than beat them up. So the third way would be to let the attack. And just let your partner go through. If your partner wants to attack again, well, then let them go through again. Thanks, guys. There are some basic things that we do when we practice competitively. One is the two-step partner practice. Let's get everybody on stage. Let's demonstrate the two-step partner practice. The practice is to enter in almost to the point of trying each other and trying to allow the moment in order to energetically not come in contact. Another blend we do, we'll do this one supposed to happen.
Yeah, my son said.
Which is so we'll blend in 10 times. So to do that, you're giving your partner the line of attack. You're getting to have that part of that. And then you blend on that energy in a way that neutralizes the attack. I think we can really get further. Thank you very much. Another basic training we do is techniques into Aikido, which is the first teaching of the mother of all techniques. And we do this from a variety of guys. idea is to capture the energy of the attack before it actually becomes an attack. You can blend the front, Michelle here, you can blend the back when you put service in. Yeah, so second team of Ikebana. The difference between Ikebana and Ikebana is pretty subtle a lot. A little bit less subtle if you're participating. She's coming through with a spiral to the wrist. And so the first, she's moving the partner through the balance part of the elbow, and now we're applying spiral to the wrist. And again, Chris is going to the back, going letting the Ura to the back part of the triangle. Chris, could you demonstrate Akio therapy? Demonstrate Cody Daiki. This time. This technique can be ready to attack. Typically, so many attacks can take down a ski, which you saw earlier, and then no one right to the side of yourself. Nowadays, is an excellent technique to take that part of balance into the leg. Allow us to move at a side. Allow us to create energy that goes away from our center. At the same time, keeping your center, grabbing the curve. It's a good practice for some of the principles that we know, like, you know, and let us translate that.
Like dancing. Kind of like you guys do it. That would be I love this. You know what's loving this right now? My already. No.
I'm all for my little and maybe some discipline because God knows. My bigger concern is
The Aikido is a martial way that many Aikido are frustrated for a variety of reasons. One is the balance of the posture I talked about earlier. I'd like to introduce the local Michael Lynch to Chris Ochi to demonstrate that. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Lim. I'm entering through ninth grade. This is my student, Ms. Ochi, who is a Shodan control this way for Shodan. We'll be given a brief demonstration. There is a connection between Aikido students and Bata Jutsu. Bata Jutsu is the original part of the Aikido and involves events. What we do is based on original art, the techniques that Aikido uses, a lot of them were developed from Aikido Shinseki initiative before, and that's the basis for techniques for a lot of techniques. Okay, we're going to start with Chris doing katas of his choice, Shodan and Judan. That kata was Shodan. that costume is Taiko. That's from that's a celebration of life per se. I'm going to take over for a few minutes now and do a series of first draws and features.
Xian Michael Lin, 9th degree black belt in Enshin Ito Ryo Bato Jutsu. Some subtle differences between Bato Jutsu and Iaido and Iai Jutsu, more than intense. Demonstrating different techniques for drawing the sword, hiding, cleaning the blood, and putting the sword away. There's a large focus on the speed of draws and control. Every movement. That will include and our
recognition literally from around the world for his expertise in bonsai. So it's truly an honor to have him here at the Bonsai Club that he leads, the Monterey Bonsai Club. Today they will be demonstrating the art of bonsai, and of course you can also see the many bonsai trees displayed in the back room. Today Kinoshita Sensei will be assisted by Max Phobia, and Mr. Don Brightwell will be guiding us through with announcing what's happening during the demonstration. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to the Monterey Bonsai Club.
Oh, okay, so Mr. Kinoshita is going to work on this tree for the next half hour. And he's not going to repot it because it's too late in the year to repot the tree. So this is a procumbens juniper that was a nursery tree about 2 or 3 years ago. And now he's going to shape it. And every tree gives you a clue. There's 5 or 6 main varieties of shapes of bonsai trees. And so the tree, as it comes to you, gives you a clue as to what style it will make. And so this is an informal upright tree. And he's going to remove a lot of stuff and make it more shaped like what people think a bonsai tree should look like. And bonsai trees originally were collected trees in Japan. And around 1890, they ran out of collected trees. They had stripped the mountains of all the trees. So then they started having to mimic worn out, rustic trees with the use of wire and a series of tools that have developed over the years. One of the major tools is a concave cutter like this that's used to prune and not leave stubs when you work with a tree. This is a tool for handling the wire. This is the tool for cutting off the wire. This is a root tool if you were going to repotting it and you wanted to loosen up the roots and stuff, do it. This is the one for taking off a branch. This is one for trimming if you want to work on making a gin, because a lot of old trees have dead branches on them. So sometimes in bonsai they leave branches on. They leave dead branches on. And generally these are going to be shaped into a scalene triangle, which is, back to your geometry, is a triangle in which all three sides are different. And so it's, he's taken off a lot to make this so you can fine form in the branches, and he works really fast. And over here he has different wires of different thickness depending on what branch and how thick the branch was. And the wire comes in aluminum and it comes in copper. And depending on what you're using, that's what you will use. And then these are shears. This is the tool that at home I use the most. This is for cutting things off and pinching things off. And he's put this cloth over the tree because he doesn't want all the little cuttings getting into his gravel, and that's so it's easier to have this over like this. And so he's looking for motion, trying to make branches that have motion. And let's see. And then in the United States, there was a Japanese man in Southern California named John Naka. And he's probably the father of American bonsai. And some of his trees are in the National Collection in Washington, D.C. And he wrote 2 books on bonsai. And his trees are also at the Huntington Gardens in Southern California. So he's trying to open it up. He's trying to open this thing up, and so then it will, look more like an old tree. If you want to see an old tree, go over Tioga Pass, and you see the junipers that are growing on Tioga Pass, and you see what a tree looks like when it's subject to the weather and the wind and all that kind of stuff. So that's what you're trying to do. The other thing that people say that maybe bonsai is torturing trees. But the other side of it is, because they're repotted and get new roots, they live longer. So your choice is die young or live long. And there is a tree in the Washington collection that was given by a lord, Japanese lord, who was also an ambassador, a pine, that's been under cultivation since 1640. The other thing is, like in the other room, there is Mr. Kenoshita's great big black pine. that started from a seed from Hiroshima. And Mr. Kenosha is the second owner of that tree. Most of the great trees have had multiple owners because they've outlived their original owners. So, and probably the ones that live the longest probably are the pines. And also the other thing is, you never use anything that has a big needle. No one takes a sycamore tree or anything like that and try to make both of them. They usually make it with trees that have small ones. And so the two main ones are maples and pines. There's also crab apples and other things. But the two main groups are pines and maples. Oh, the other thing about this is there's the front and the back. You know, so you have to decide what is the back and what is the front. You know, that's a matter of opinion. Also, on some of these things, when a new owner gets a tree, they will repot it and maybe have a new front for it. The other thing is pots. The pot is a big deal for the tree, and a masculine pot has square corners. A feminine pot will have a round corner, and the pot. I've gone to these shows where these super people are there, and they criticize the pot as much as they do the tree, because you know it's supposed to be. They're supposed to meld together, you know, without you noticing. Now they decided to wire some things, and they'll try to wire. They'll try to wire some branches to reach out to the corners of the pot. So he'd like a branch to go out like this. He'd like another branch to go out like this. So that's going towards that. And then on the wire will stay on for a year or two. On pines and junipers. On maples, if the wire's on too long, the maples will grow fast and they will cut into the bark and leave a scar forever. So you have to be very careful with the maples. The maples seem to grow in spurts really quickly, and so they do different kinds of things. And the wire is put on at about a 45-degree angle. And this kind of deal. And occasionally, if the wire's not thick enough, you can use two wires to get the tension that you need to get the branch to grow. And you also have to be somewhat careful that you don't bust the branch, because you can get, you know, you bust it. It's gone. You can't glue it back. So he'll leave this wire on, you know, a year or so, plus or minus. Any questions? I can answer a question. Questions?
How do you decide which
I'm sorry?
Which one would you use? You're okay? Which one would you use? Copper and which one's aluminum?
Oh, the copper wire. The copper wire is sort of finicky. It hardens itself, so it's harder to work with copper wire than it is with aluminum wire. And then the copper wire probably used more on pine than it is on anything else. Any way you can do it. I've seen people hang fishing weights to drop the wreck, or a guide wire. If you have a tree that's in a aluminum box, you can guide wire it down. You know, as long as you get it to where you want it to be and you don't cause any problem with, you know, scarring it, you know, you can do whatever.
Hello?
Yes?
I've always heard that no matter what size the pot is tree, they always should be kept outside. Is that true and why?
Because they're outdoor living trees, and they can go inside, you know, like a bouquet for a day, but the quality of light inside just doesn't work. You know, in Florida. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. How often is the side removed?
Well, the season basically is February in our area, February through the end of May is repotting season. Then shaping and pruning you can do literally more or less all year round. On maple, when they have no leaves, they're easier obviously to prune. They have no leaves. Then after this repotted, they're not fertilized for about 6 weeks after they've been repotted. Then you can fertilize about every 2 weeks up to the end of August. Then sometimes people switch that 0, 10, 10 stuff. And then winter you just wait it out. There isn't really much to do other than just keep them alive. October through January, it's just a matter of just keeping them alive. And occasionally, we'll get aphids or mealybugs or something like that. Occasionally, they need to be sprayed. The other thing is, people generally do not put these things on drip. They hand water them. There's a lady in Oakland that friends that you had for many years. I asked her one year if they put them on drip. She said no. The idea is you want to look at every tree. And if you rely on drip, if the drip gets clogged up and it's a hot spell and it doesn't get watered for a week, it's dead. You know? And it is a commitment. I do not take summer vacations. You know, if you ever take a summer vacation, I doubt if you take a summer vacation. You know, just, you know. But, you know, and everybody gravitates, I think, to one type of tree or another. Mr. Goods does not do white pines. And Japan, white pine is a mountain tree. Black pines are a coastal tree. And he's got incredible trees. His trees are, you know, that, you haven't looked at that table and that pine in the other room. That tree is a masterpiece. There's no other way to describe that tree. Yeah, right? Yes, yeah, that's the Hiroshima tree. But see,
Outside or inside?
inside, it's in the next room over here. That's where they're showing. It's a wonderful tree. The other thing that people do in California is they do go to the White Mountains and there are places they collect Sierra juniper, different types of juniper. So you can have a tree that's
Question on this side of the room? Where's a good resource to start? Any books, websites? Can you speak into the mic? It's very hard to hear you.
I think in the modern world, go to YouTube. You've got whatever you have. Well, in terms of nurseries, you can go to Valley Hills or something like that, and you can buy pines and maples and stuff like that. And then Sunset Garden Book has a bonsai book that's not bad. And then, if you really have a real interest in getting started, every year in February at Lake Merritt, there is a bonsai flea market where all these growers come and there people sell things. And that's a great place to get it started at a reasonable cost. If you got $1 zillion, literally $1 zillion, there's a commercial nursery on Broadway in Haven that has just incredible trees. That's literally $3,000 or $4,000. And our club meets on the third Saturday at here at the Buddhist Temple. September through June. We don't meet during the summer.
What time can we get fresh?
Pardon?
What time can we get fresh? That's not the other plan. At what time I can be fresh?
I'm sorry? Oh, the time? Oh, the club meets at from 1:30 to 3:30 on the third Saturday.
Can we come in?
Yes. So the next meeting will be the third Saturday in September.
Hey, John, we got brochures in the bonsai.
And what happens in the meeting is people bring a tree, and Mr. Kenosha just walks around and whacks on it. What to do. And sometimes, like, I took a tree there the other day, and he took off this huge branch, and it took years to grow that branch. And he just sawed it off. I don't need that one. Yeah, I think what we do nowadays would really be fun is to, take your smartphone and take photographs before, and then save it later.
Where can we buy bonsai separate trips?
straighten up. When you cut off the tip of anything, that hormone is no longer there, and the side hormones are activated, which causes the side. So, you know, just like you were going to prune an apple tree or a rose or anything like that, except on these conifers and candles on pines, you know, I still don't really understand how pines work. And you know, you take all this off, and the first time you do it, you think you feel really bad, maybe you're going to kill it, but with practice and seeing that it does come back, you have more confidence. And clearly at 86, he has confidence. Again, here now you can see, the nice motion in these branches, how they have shapes. See how nice this curve is right here and here. And now with all this foliage taken off, by the way, all the foliage that was on there encouraged the thickness of the trunk. So some branches are left on trees that are called sacrificial branches, and they're on there to encourage the trunk to get thicker. And once you know, they're far enough along, then you can take off the sacrificial branches and just leave, you know, what you need for the final tree. And I don't know, frankly, if there is a final tree. You know, I think, you know, maybe something dies off and then you decide to do something different. So, you know, they're not fixed in stone, so to speak. And it is, you know, it's a time commitment and really a lifestyle thing when you have enough of them where you don't go away in the sun. You can miss them and, you know, put them in the shade, you know, go away for 2 or 3 days. People that live in like Fresno, they have to water their trees 3 times a day. What would be nice about the Monterey Peninsula is this climate is, you know, a lot of plants are really happy to live in. Now they're picking out the weeds. After he's done something like this, you know, he might put it in the shade and mist it with a water bottle a couple of times a day. You know, because it is a shock to have that taken off. And if a big branch was taken off, there is wound paste to cover the scar where you took off a big branch. There's different kinds of things to do. For 1 month, he's going to keep this in the shade. I personally think you should go for a 360 trade that looks good all the way around. Sometimes, you know, there's a scar that, you know, it doesn't have to have a tree. For a lot of trees, you know, it could be a 360 tree. So I don't know if you got what he's saying. He's leaving the branches longer on the track to get more depth, and shorter branches in the front, you know, and longer ones in the back to get more depth.
everything you've done over the years. Reverend Shinseki will be speaking about Jodo Shinshu Buddhism and the Obon tradition. So please join me in welcoming Reverend Jay Shinseki.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for our 75th Obon celebration. And Obon is really a memorial service. So one thing you'll notice is we have these 6 lanterns up here. And these are 6 people who have died since last Obon. And we honor them with their first Obon. And Obon is about remembering our past, celebrating our life here and now, because our lives here and now are a direct result of our past. And so it is our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors who give us life. And so at every Obon we honor them. And we celebrate our life because we're able to live, have the things that we have, be able to do the things that we do because of their sacrifices and their life. So I've been asked to kind of talk about kind of an introduction to Buddhism and explain a little bit about Obon, but I really hope that we can do a little Q&A after that, and I'm going to ask David and Nick and Tom to help us with that Q&A. So Buddhism is 2,000, almost 600 years old. So it is one of the oldest religions in the world. And of course it began in northern India with Siddhartha Gautama, who was born in a palace as a prince. And so he had everything that he wanted. You know, if you're born in a very wealthy family, you're provided with the best education, the best schools, beautiful cars, wonderful clothes. This was Siddhartha. But Siddhartha was very introspective. He didn't feel like this was what life is all about. He wanted to know more about why people outside of his world were suffering. There was old age, there was sickness, there was death that was occurring around him, and people were suffering because of these. So he wanted to know, what can we do to alleviate that suffering? And so he went on a quest. He left his home, he left the palace, he left everything behind. So the only possessions he had was a robe, a begging bowl, and his sandals. And he went and he studied and he meditated and he went to all the different teachers and monks, practiced for years and years. And finally, he reached a point where he really understood how to end suffering. And then he became the Buddha. And the Buddha, the literal meaning of the Buddha is the awakened one. So if we think about that term, the awakened one, that means that we're kind of asleep. We're half awake, maybe. We're not totally awakened to the truth of life. So the Buddha awakened to what he calls the truth of life. So the first thing he did, well, not the first thing, because he sat there for, some say, 49 days, meditating after this enlightenment, and tried to figure out, how can I explain this very deep, profound teaching to people? So he came up with a plan, which was what we call the Four Noble Truths. And some of you know this. The first truth is that life is never going the way we want it to. And the key to this is not the way we want it to go. Okay, we want life to go a certain way. We want it to be wonderful and happy. But life never happens that way. There's always going to be changes. There's always going to be bumps in the road that happen. And so life never goes the way we want it to go. People die, people get sick, people leave us, divorces, everything. Sort of these things happen. Life never goes the way we want it to. This is what he called dukkha. And dukkha literally is, if you take a cart and you build a cart with the two wheels and an axle. The axle is off center, it never runs smoothly. And this is the definition of how the Buddha defined life. Never goes smoothly. Every once in a while there's going to be a bump in the road. And he defined this as birth, old age, sickness, and death. And he also defined it as not getting along with people, not getting what we want, being limited in the way we can do things, and change. That people will die, people will leave, things will change. So we're separated from those that we love. These are the 8 things that we define as causing our suffering, causing this unbalanced sort of up and down that he called dukkha. So the second truth that he taught is that life doesn't have to be that way. There's a cause for this. And what's the cause? It's my ego. My view of the world, the way I want it to be. I want my wife to continue to love me forever. Well, she does, but at some point our life changes, right? The people that we love pass away. The people that we're associated with move away. Our children grow up and they do their own thing and they're no longer with us. All of these changes occur in our lives. And this is one of the things that the Buddha said, we want it to be a certain way, yet it doesn't happen that way, the way we want it to. So this doesn't have to be this way, but it's the ego. It's the ego that causes me to say, I love you, but you don't love me. What's wrong with you? No, it's my ego. It's my ego that says, I want the world to be this way. So it's the ego that causes all that suffering. So the third truth is that the alternative to that is what he called nirvana. Nirvana means the extinction, the blowing out of that ego, getting rid of that ego. Okay? So Buddhists throughout the world, whether you're Zen or whether you're Jodo Shinsho or whether you're any kind of sect of Buddhism, the goal is to eliminate the ego, to get rid of that ego, so that you're ego-less, so that you can see the world as it truly is, not the way I want it to be. Okay. So then the Buddha said the fourth truth is the way to do that. And the way to do that is the Eightfold Path. Right view, right thought, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right meditation, and right mindfulness, and then meditation. Okay. These are the Eightfold Path. So the first one is right view. And the Buddha emphasized this because he wanted us to see the world as it truly is. Okay? And all we have to do is look at nature. You look at nature and you see life changing all the time. It never stays the same. But in our lives, we want things to stay the same. We don't accept the changes that occur in our life. And that's what the Buddha wanted us to emphasize, correct view. To see the world as it truly is. So if we can see the world as it truly is, we think differently, right? We talk differently. We conduct ourselves differently. The livelihood we choose is different. And everything is based on a sort of compassionate view of the world. It's not just about me, it's about all other people and how I affect their lives. So the Buddha emphasized wisdom and compassion. And compassion is the only thing that's going to save our world. You know, our world is kind of going crazy these days. We don't know what's happening out there. But if we all, each and every one of us, practice compassion with each other, you know, it's like a small pebble in a pond, but it creates a home of compassion. It creates a society of compassion. It creates a world of compassion. And, you know, we may not see these great changes that we do in our homes, but if we're consistent, and we are compassionate, it'll make changes. It'll make a difference in our children and our grandchildren and the world beyond us. So this is what the Buddha teaches. So the idea of the Eightfold Path is to create a view of the world that is true and real. And he also said that there are three things that we really need, three truths that we need to encompass in our lives. One is that everything is impermanent. Nothing ever stays the same. So if we understand that truth and we embrace that truth, then this moment is the most important moment. The time that we have with our family is the most important. The time we have with our loved ones is the most important to be treasured. Because tomorrow we don't know what's going on. We live like we're going to live forever. Okay? We're reminded by the Buddha that life is very fragile. We need to really encompass or embrace each moment. We also need to understand that we're all interrelated. That nothing that we do, everything that we do, affects other people. Our thoughts, our words, and our actions are going to affect others. Not just today, but well after we're dead and gone, our words, our thoughts, and our actions are going to affect others. So we have a responsibility in what we say and do and think. And this is this idea of this interdependency, interrelationship. And then the Buddha said, we're all one. We're all very different in our own way, in the way we think, in the way we live, in the way we do things. But we have this sense of oneness in that we all share the same dreams and hopes for this world and for our children and our children's children. So the Buddha said, practice compassion and use it wisely, because this is what's going to create a new and better world for us. So, in my life, I've been doing this as a minister for almost 40 years, and I've tried my very best to teach my friends and my family and our congregation to practice this idea of wisdom and compassion. And if we can all do this, whether you're Buddhist or not, you go out in the world and practice a sense of compassion for other human beings, a sense of wisdom in making decisions, it'll be a better world. I guarantee it. So that's my introduction to Buddhism. Again, I want to emphasize that this Obon is a time to celebrate our ancestors, to celebrate our family, and be reminded that we are truly grateful for all of their sacrifices that allow us to be who we are and do what we do. Thank you very much. So we are going to open it up for questions, and I'm going to turn it over to our capable minister's assistants to answer this question.
Purpose of meditation, for me, it's a personal answer. It's more of a self-reflection, looking inward and actually focusing on outward and all the things around me that are going on. Because only to really focus in on myself and what I bring to the world, I just need to make sure that I'm calm and focused and feeling well. So that's my purpose of meditation.
So my purpose, I'm actually part of Shoriji Kempo, which is one of the martial arts here. So I do Jodo Shinsho Buddhism here, and Shoriji Kempo. Shoriji Kempo, we actually sit, which I'm sure all you have seen before, where you sit in Zen meditation, and there's that. Jodo Shinsho, you chant. You do that, and that's what our meditation is. However, during that time frame, the whole point, as Reverend Jay has told us before, is you're supposed to forget everything, just every single thing. Because I'm sure that I'll be sitting there and I'm like, oh man, what's for dinner tomorrow? Oh man, where am I supposed to go? I still got to go to work. This and this and that. But the point is to be in the moment, just to forget everything. And because we have so many things going on in our lives, but just to try to just reflect on nothing is like it's really awesome to be able to do that.
For me, it's, you get old, you get religion, right? So that's part of it. And I grew up in this Jodo Shinsho tradition. So, but then frankly, when you're young, you're not necessarily paying attention to the religion, really. So as part of, recently I went through a lot of studying courses, became a minister's assistant. I learned a lot about my own religion, its heritage, what it really means. So I did get division.
I asked what remains of the Buddha. Is it his teachings or is there a spirit?
The gentleman asked what remains of the Buddha, his teachings or his spirit, and it's strictly his teachings. Buddha, before he passed, said that not to focus on him as a person, not even to create images or statues of him. He wanted to solely focus on the teachings itself, and that way it will bring his truest memory and continue on. And it's only because of his teachings that it's survived to this day.
So that's a really good question because there's actually a thing, it's called, so it's kind of like the telephone game. We all remember the telephone game, right? Where he'll tell me something in my ear and I'll turn around and tell Nick something in his ear. By the time it got over here, it's completely different. And so the Buddha warned, he's like, look, by the time it gets to you guys, it's going to be completely different. And so that is where we come in. Our job is to make sure that that story and all his talks and everything else try to remain as intact as possible to help all the future generations. So there is that worry of the depletion of the truth of what he used to tell. So because of, especially now that it's branched off, just like Christianity, where it's going to all these different branches, Buddhism has actually done the same thing, where it's actually all these different branches, but everybody still tries to maintain the same Dharma.
It's called a Dharma, that's basically teaching. So the Buddha is not a god. It's more like an idea than anything. But you have an altar. It's Amida Buddha is more of a cosmological Buddha. In our scheme of things, there are millions and millions of Buddha in the cosmos. And we happen to look up to this particular Amida. It's the Amida, is a Buddha of infinite light, infinite life. So on surface it looks like almost like a god. It's sort of metaphysical. Our founder Shinran, his portrait is up there on the right. Even he says, it's unfathomable. We cannot, in our present state of being, we're not capable of understanding what Buddha is all about. So some of it, in our belief, it's based on faith. It's faith in our own Buddha nature, faith in Amida Buddha that will carry us to our enlightenment. So there's a certain element of religion, deity almost, but not quite that. It's not in the sense of Christian deity. It's more like an idea.
You believe in afterlife, that the Catholic Church believes the spirit you come back, reborn to life as a new person?
So if I understand the correct question, it was, do we believe in an afterlife or rebirth? Come back from the past. So, the Buddha in his time, a lot of things were talked about in analogies because of the concept of Buddhism is it's almost what Tom said, unfathomable. So, in layman's terms, the Buddha, this idea of rebirth, for instance, every day technically we are reborn. We are not the same as we were yesterday. So this specific sect of Buddhism does not believe in a rebirth of if you're bad, you'll be born as a worm, or if you're good, your life will be reborn as one of the godly or heavenly figures and then become Buddha. So to answer that question directly, no. As far as rebirth goes, it's every day we're being reborn as the concept that we believe in. And when it comes to afterlife, so the Buddha, in this specific sect of Buddhism, the Buddha had talked about this specific Buddha as a way for most people to gain the salvation that we want, to be free from pain, suffering, anything like that. So in chanting the name Amitabha or Namo Amitabha, this is his guaranteed way of us being reborn in the Pure Land. And this Pure Land is where we are doing nothing but focusing on becoming the Buddha without all these worldly things kind of just consistently surrounding us with pain and anguish and fear and anxiety. So this Pure Land, so to speak, is a place where we can just focus on becoming Buddhas, and we become Buddhists in that land, and that's the end of it. No afterlife, no. To be direct, no afterlife. It's just being reborn in this idea of a Pure Land where we become Buddhas. Because even the original Buddha himself, when he passed away, he said, this is it. I'm reaching Nirvana. Nirvana is returning back to what we came with, this universal, cosmic, universe that we're part of. It's pretty much nothingness.
And another thing too is that the Buddha had said, if you're going to be so focused on the afterlife, what's going to happen when you die, just think about all that time that you're wasting. All that time is gone. Oh my gosh, if I die tomorrow, where do I go? This and that, this and that. When during that time, I can sit there and reflect on, well, what have I done for my community? What have I done for my friends? What have I done for my family? And that's where all that time should be spent. I'm a firm believer that no matter what religion you are, because we're a religion, we're a community of so many different religions. I think the most important thing is like Reverend Jay said earlier, is to show kindness and compassion to one another. I think it's so important. That's what makes change. In my family, people are shocked to know I have Lutheran, Catholic, Christian, atheist. I have so many different religions in my family alone, but everybody is on one mission and one mission only, and that is to be compassionate. And I think if we follow that line of compassion, and that's what changes it.
First off, I want to thank you for your talk. That was interesting. And what reminded me of an interview that I saw with Maya Angelou. I saw this interview years ago. And I remember what she said. She said she lives her life with passion, compassion, humor, and style. And I like that phrase, and I got that from you. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Yes, compassion is a very big part of our faith also. Ours? In general, gosh, I could say this for ourselves in Buddhism. We don't ask for anything. There's no catch. There's no requirement. It's acceptable to everyone. Okay, you could be any person. Bad, good, evil. We say Amida accepts everybody. So that unconditional acceptance is a good start for somebody that wants to explore religion.
I can add on to that. Here's an example, like me. I remember the first day I came to the temple, and I walked up, and I was like, nah, I'm not going in there. And I turned around, and I walked back off. I'm like, they're going to talk about me, they're going to say this, they're going to say that. And no, someone came, hey, you're here, you're new. Come sit with us. There was no judgment. There was nothing. I remember I even came here one day wearing my Raiders jersey because there was a football game that day and I didn't want to be late watching it. It didn't matter. What matters is the self. That's all they care about. What matters is teaching others the Dharma. Those are the things that matter. And I think that's why, going back to your question, do we think Buddhism is growing? It's because I think it personally is growing. I've had a lot of people ask about it. It's because it's just so welcoming. There's just something about Buddhism that I have found on my journey through all these different religions that it just kind of called me in without all the judgment and having to worry. It was just me focusing on me and me focusing on what the Buddha was trying to teach.
Pretty much what Tom said, it's just come as you are. There's no real requirements to become a Buddhist other than believing in the Dharma itself.
The last 50 or 20 years I've had down in Monterey.
I don't want to lose myself in the dogma, is pretty much what you're saying.
No, that's a good question. I mean, you'll see like a lot of movies where like they're praying to the Buddha. You know, like I want a new car, I want this, I want that. That's, you know, and they get sucked up into the Buddha being, going back to, I forgot who I said it, but a god. Buddha's not a god. He said, when I die, please don't make me a god. I'm just a human being. And even I get sucked up into that sometimes, like, okay, you know, I'll meet a Buddha, hopefully things will go better, I just gotta reflect on him. No, I need to reflect on Amida Buddha because I'm reflecting on the lessons. So when we come in here, a lot of people have this misconception that they'll see us, Gasho, and we'll bow. We're not bowing to Amida Buddha as a god. We're bowing to Amida Buddha as saying, thank you for the ideas that you gave us. Thank you for the teachings that you gave us. He's a representation of what is infinite compassion and wisdom. Compassion was there before we were here, the wisdom was there before we were here, and it's going to be there when we're all gone. So keeping that idea that he's not a god, and it's the teachings that are important. It's that when you start to stray away from that and start to picture, you know, oh, I just want that one wish just to get that extra something, then that's when we stray away and we start, you know, believing as, you know, as that is.
So we're almost out of time here, but I just want to make a comment on that question because it's a great question. So the true teaching that the Buddha wanted all of us to remember is to look within the self. So you might define it as dogma, you know, all the rituals and the teachings, but the teachings have to talk to you. They have to talk to you and what's relevant in your life right here and now. And that's where dogma is kind of thrown out the window, right? Because if it doesn't relate to you and what's happening in your life, man, it's just words. It's just, you know, me talking about things. So my friend created a bumper sticker that said, "My karma ran over your dogma." Right? So your karma, what he meant when he made this bumper sticker is that your karma is really what's going to guide your life into hearing the teachings and making it relevant to your life. If it isn't, then it's just words kind of flowing through. And that's where dogma, I think, is different from the true teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha wanted us to really reflect on the self. And how does it affect me? How does it speak to me? Because if it doesn't, then, you know, maybe you need to be someplace else or listen to something else. And I've always told our members, and I've told these guys, that sometimes in your life, you're just not ready to hear these things. But there's certain maturity, there's a certain growth and time when you hear things differently. I've been teaching Buddhism since 1981. And I'll be honest with you, I was saying things that I was told, that I was taught when I went to school. I went to graduate school, I went to spend 3.5 years in Japan studying Buddhism. And I was saying things that this is what I'm supposed to say. This is what, you know, the Buddha said. And then when my father died, everything changed. I was saying things that I felt. I was saying things that the Buddha spoke to me because of the loss of my father. That's where the difference is, because it's not just about what I'm hearing and what I've learned, but what I'm feeling. What's in my heart and what's in my mind. And that's, to me, the difference. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so I think we're out of time. There's other things going on. But I want to remind everybody at 4 o'clock, we're doing a service here. A service is actually a memorial for these folks up here and all the generations past. It's a very quick service before the dancing, so we invite you all to come back. 3:30, thank you. 3:30. Okay, thank you everyone. Keith.
For all your services, here.
Oh, thank you, Keith. Thank you. Come back. Thank you, Dad.